Hi, Ray here. In this video, I just wanted to catch up on news and announcements. What's new for you? Let me know in the comments what summer has brought your way so far. Or, I guess winter if you live in regions to the south, photographically or otherwise. And I owe thanks to those of you who've hung in during my recent absence. As per recent community post, the cold that I mentioned in the video before last turned out to be much more serious. C19. It was no fun at all. It really knocked the stuffing out of me and laid me up for 2 weeks. And I'm still pretty fatigued, as a matter of fact, and kind of stuffy. I was able to take on a shoot last weekend, and I hope to be able to use some of the results in upcoming content. What else has happened in my absence? Again, let me know what's happened for you. As far as Nikon news, yeah, my Z8 came under the recall notice related to the lens mount issue. Now here's the thing, during my unboxing, and I'll link it here, I did have an initial kind of trouble mounting a lens. That is, it didn't seem to lock in place right away. And that's the issue Nikon has highlighted. But after that momentary glitch, about 30 seconds of turning the lens back and forth, it seemed to resolve itself. I might have taken the time during the COVID downtime to send my unit in for assessment, but really, I wasn't in any shape to do much of anything. I guess I'll wait until I have another chance to send it in. In the meantime, I'm always making sure the lens is solidly mounted and locked in place. Last week, Nikon released firmware updates for the Z series 3.6.0 for Z6 and 7, 1.60 for Z6 II and Z7 II. For my Z6s, that meant a compatibility update for the MC N10 remote grip. That's all. And I don't own one of those, so it's no biggie for me. But it's great to see Nikon adding this option to the Z6 and Z7. It's still a great 4K video camera. A bit more for the second generation cameras, added always and only when flash is not used options for custom setting D9, apply settings to live view on, added D10 warm display colors, added D11 image frame, added G7 red record frame indicator, more on that in a minute, added finder display size photo LV to the setup menu. The prioritize viewfinder monitor mode has been replaced by prioritize viewfinder 1 and prioritize viewfinder 2. And there's a few bug fixes in there as well, I think. Perhaps not the kind of improvements a lot of Z6 and Z7 II owners were hoping for, but that varies among owners. But I am jealous of the recording frame indicator. Nikon, is it possible to add that to the original Z6? Please? That was one of the best video functions added to the Z9. And now, Z8. It really does help confirm when recording is in progress. And speaking of the Z8, I noticed Nikon rumors today commenting on Z8 availability here in Canada. What's strange about that post is the accompanying list that includes, yeah, Camera Canada, and they have stock or had stock when I checked this morning. But the list includes places like B&H and Adorama. These aren't Canadian outlets, and I know for sure B&H don't ship Nikon to Canada due to warranty agreements in different countries. However, for my US audience, please do feel free to order via my B&H affiliate links in the description. There's no extra cost to you, and the small commission I receive helps me bring you more content like this. Nikon Rumors list doesn't include one of Canada's largest retailers of photography gear, Vistec. It's listed as a hot item, but as of this morning shows on order. I can report from the store where I bought my Z8 and lots of my other Z series gear, Kerrisdale cameras. They have one in stock across seven stores, I think it is, which is likely spoken for. That's from last week's delivery of, I think it was 5 units, so they're trickling in. The recall, as such, has affected delivery according to my contact there, meaning not so much that it's affected trust in the brand, but that Nikon has had to dedicate time and resources to the issue, making sure that going forward that it's fully resolved. What else? I discussed firmware 4.0 for the Z9, more incredible improvements with auto capture as the most notable addition. I'm not going to comment on any other recent rumors. I like to verify my news. We have received some very good first-hand, hands-on reviews of recent Z-mount lens releases like the 180 to 600 f5.6 to 6.3, 70 to 180 2.8, DX 24mm f1.7. And speaking of DX, a little bird told me, and as of this morning, I can now report that my friend Matt Irwin has a preliminary report, hot off the press, on a new 75mm f1.2 APS-C lens from Viltrox. So we see there's more third-party options online all the time, due in no small part to Nikon's willingness to share the advantages of the big Z-mount with other manufacturers. And that's a contrast with the dog-in-the-manger approach from another brand. I think it's good that Nikon is doing that. What'll be next? Well, one thing that's been on the radar for some time is the highly anticipated 35mm S-line lens, presumably f1.2, to complete a kind of holy trinity of 1.2s, 85, 50, and now 35. I mentioned in my chat with Matt last winter that this would be a very, very tempting lens for me. I'd love a wide-angle, wide-aperture lens. I don't own a Z-mount option at the moment, only the 14 to 30 f4. And that's a great lens that Matt beat me to reviewing lately. It was on my list, and I'll get around to adding my views sometime soon. But if the 35 is released this year, and I think it will be after the Z8 and 85 1.2 purchases, well, I might have to wait a while. The other eagerly awaited lens, the 135mm S-line, that's the other future lens sitting alongside the 35mm lens on Nikon's website. There seems to be a consensus that that will be a 1.8. We'll see. I know there's a lot of people eager to see that released. Personally, I've never found a use for a 135mm prime. I tried one out back in the 80s, the E-series 135 2.8. Great little lens at a great price in those days. But as I say, not really for me. For portraits, and regular viewers will be tired of hearing this, I grabbed my treasured 105mm f2.5. And then beyond that, something like the old 80 to 200 made more sense for me. So as for my summer, well, now that my health seems to be improving, I do have a big backlog of obligatory work, as well as projects I desperately want to embark upon. And I'm going to try to combine some of that work, hopefully without overextending myself. Amanda and I need a break, and so we're hoping to do at least a short road trip. Well, we're heading into the home stretch of July now, but August for sure. So I just wanted to catch up and let you know what's happening with me and this channel. So I hope I've covered everything that I set out to cover when I was thinking about it this morning. At least most of the stuff. Yeah, in the pipeline, I have SD options from a couple of manufacturers for that second card slot in the Z8, and a versatile light wand. Look for those soon. If you're interested in video post-production, check out this video that I've finally wrapped up last week, and do give this video the old thumbs up if you found it interesting. And if this is your first time here, do consider subscribing. We'd love to see you again. In the meantime, take care, cheers, and we'll see you later.